At the start of 2020, Bronx drill music was on the rise, and K-Flock quickly became one of its standout faces. He performed at Summer Jam, dropped a few hit songs, and looked set to be the next big star in the scene. The thing with K-Flock was that most of his hype came from his actions in the streets, not just his music. His songs often felt secondary to his street persona. That's actually common in drill. People notice what you do in the streets, and that attention spills over to your music. K-Flock was a prime example of this. He was one of the fastest rising drill rappers at the time. He blew up quickly, and many believed he could be one of the few drill artists to have a lasting career, like Pop Smoke. Drill music has been around since the 2010s, though it slowed down for a while. In the 2020s, Bronx drill, Florida drill, and drill scenes everywhere started booming. But with its rise came real consequences for the communities where it was born. And K-Flock became the perfect example of what can happen when you take drill too far. Some of you might know I grew up in the Bronx around 2020. I left that year when things really got bad. Everything you saw in drill music was already happening on the streets. I grew up in that environment, saw it firsthand, and experienced it alongside many of my friends. Drill music just took the negatives from the streets and turned them into music, a concept that's not new. What was new, though, was that these drill rappers were literally rapping about crimes they had just committed, crimes that could get them investigated or sent to prison. They'd commit the act, go straight to the studio, turn it into a song, and brag about it, sometimes releasing it the very next day. While all this was happening, people getting hurt or killed, they'd make a track, drop it, and then argue about it on Instagram Live. They were being praised by fans, and their fame kept rising, almost like they didn't expect what would come next, which is exactly how drill music works. I truly believe drill music was hijacked early on, because its very purpose is to tear communities apart from within. That's exactly what we saw with K-Flock. He terrorized the Bronx and Harlem, running after his rivals, recording it live on Instagram, brandishing weapons, and spreading fear across the streets. While most rappers rap about gangster life or past crimes, K-Flock was actively living it, proving his street reputation in real time. But eventually, it caught up to him. Fans of hip-hop or drill may have heard that K-Flock was sentenced to 30 years in prison. It's a tragic story. He was only 18, had just broken through as a successful rapper, and had a real chance to escape the streets and help his friends do the same. He could have lifted himself out of the streets, even helped his mom and friends do the same. But instead, he chose to act out, trying to prove he was the big, tough guy his drill persona portrayed. If I'm not mistaken, this happened in 2021. K-Flock was walking past a barbershop when he allegedly spotted someone he had. The guy got up, ran to the door, and pulled a weapon on K-Flock, threatening him. K-Flock reportedly said he didn't want any problems, and as the guy turned to walk back inside, K-Flock pulled out his own weapon and fired, ultimately taking the man's life before running away. It didn't take long for authorities to identify him. New York is full of cameras, and they were able to match his outfit from that day. The case was essentially closed. They already knew it was K-Flock. When K-Flock was arrested and went to trial, his defense claimed it was self-defense since the other guy pulled a weapon first. But if you know New York, there's really no room for a self-defense claim. You're not even legally allowed to carry a gun. Plus, the fact that the man turned and walked away undermines that argument. It looked like he was de-escalating, while K-Flock was the one who pulled the trigger. This is, unfortunately, part of the risk of being a drill rapper. In his mind, K-Flock probably felt he had no choice. He didn't want anyone going online saying, "I just pressed K-Flock," he folded, begging for his life. So what did he do? K-Flock valued his drill image over his freedom and his family. He pulled out his weapon and took the person out, even though he didn't need to. He could have walked away, and the situation had already de-escalated. But that's the price of drill music, the price of being a drill rapper. Back in the day, rappers could be connected to the streets or have a criminal past, but they weren't rapping about crimes they were actively committing. Their lyrics were about past experiences, friends' actions, or even made-up stories. Drill rap changed all that. It rewarded active crimes, and drill rappers became stars based on the people they took out. Their entire careers were built on it. And you can't tell me this isn't a manufactured agenda pushed into urban communities to harm the people there. Growing up, I saw a lot firsthand. Of course, crime existed before drill or gangster music. But one thing is clear, gangster and drill music made being a criminal desirable. It wasn't just a few bad apples. The culture glorified it and made it aspirational. It even made people who weren't about that life want to be gangsters, because that's what mainstream music was promoting. It was everywhere. I remember being very young when 50 Cent was the hottest rapper in the world. Growing up in New York, I couldn't turn a corner without hearing his music. 50 Cent was everywhere. I was a huge fan as a kid. He was like a superhero to me. His music resonated through my neighborhood, and everyone loved him. What people loved most about 50 Cent was his gangster persona. He got shot 9 times and survived, dominated the game, and everyone feared him. I remember how aggressive people acted back then, how the music was shaping a gangster culture that was emerging around us. I was right in the middle of it, seeing and dealing with it every day as a kid. Believe it or not, that's the power music has on the mind. And we saw the same thing with drill music. As the drill era rose, it wasn't just K-Flock making headlines. There were plenty of copycats. Others saw it as their chance to blow up, put their block on the map, and become big rappers. The result? In 2020 and 2021, New York City saw some of its highest murder rates in years. Why? Drill music. Because it was inspiring kids to commit crimes and turn them into songs. And to make a real drill song, they had to actually go on a drill. They couldn't just lie about it. These kids were literally putting themselves in danger. And then record labels stepped in, signing them, giving them more money to do it even more. The more violence, the more money the labels made, because it all fueled promotion. Drill music was causing the deaths, so it had to be real. That's how the system worked. It wasn't just Bronx drill. Look at Lil Jeff. Lil Jeff was like K-Flock. His reputation came from being active in the streets, not just his rapping skills. People were drawn to him because he was in the streets and because lives were being lost around him, not because of his music alone. And honestly, the way he went out is even worse than K-Flock. K-Flock is facing 30 years in prison, but if he survives, he could eventually make it out. Lil Jeff, though, is gone. Drill music and the street mentality consumed him, leading him straight into his own death. He went out to do a drill on some ops. He jumps out of his car with a weapon, runs toward the house, and tries to kick in the door, something he was notorious for, breaking into his ops' homes. Lil Jeff storms in, and almost immediately, he gets shot. He dies on the spot, and it sparks a massive shootout. This potentially big rapper, with endless potential and a chance to become a star, lost it all because of his street life. Just like we saw with K-Flock. There's no way K-Flock will walk out of prison and return to music, and Lil Jeff isn't coming back at all. They threw away their lives for something they couldn't even enjoy. That's how the devil works. I've said it before, the devil elevates one person, makes them look like a star, makes them seem desirable, all to lead countless others astray. Now, some might think all the blame falls on drill rappers or the parents raising their kids wrong. That's not the case. It also falls on the record labels. These kids just want to make it. They're following trends, learning from others, and being shaped by the generation before them. What we see and grow up with plays a huge role in forming who we become. When we grow up idolizing hip-hop and rap, and see an opportunity that seems to guarantee a record deal, we naturally go for it. That's where the record labels come in. They have no problem signing these dangerous drill rappers, giving them money and resources to commit more crimes and cause more destruction, because it's not happening in their own communities. Why would they care? It's destroying the urban communities they don't care about. We're the ones feeling the impact. My mom still lives in the Bronx, my friends, my family. All the people I care about are affected by this music, not the wealthy record label executives. They live in the suburbs with security, protected areas, and cops patrolling. That's not our reality in the Bronx, where the cops don't protect the streets. They often make life harder. The record labels have no problem pushing this. And it's not just about making money. They will make money, but it's also about destroying communities and trapping as many people as possible. As I've said before, drill music is the evolution of gangster music. Gangster music was designed, alongside the private prison industry, to ensure that as many people as possible from urban communities, black and brown, end up in private prisons. Drill music is the evolved version of this system. Not only do the drill rappers end up in jail, but so do the kids influenced by them, their friends, their communities. It's a system designed to destroy us from within. Record labels give these artists a few $100,000, and soon half the neighborhood is arrested, ending up in private prisons, while the labels make billions. That's how the system works. That's the real problem with drill music. That's the curse behind it. They literally pay you to act out and destroy your own life, just so the audience can watch it unfold. Recently, I made a 30-minute video on NBA YoungBoy on my main channel, breaking down everything I've learned about him. I also showed exactly how NBA YoungBoy was used to help create the crash out generation. This is something that really bothered me. Being from the Bronx, seeing my friends go to jail, watching family members get hurt, and witnessing the impact of gangster music on my community. That's why I want to speak out. I want to show these kids that this isn't the way. I was one of them once. I lived it. I made mistakes I'm not proud of, and I know many of you have too. As we mature, our mindsets change. We grow, we turn to God, and we learn from our mistakes. But imagine never getting that chance to reflect, to see that the things you did were wrong, immature, and harmful. You don't get that opportunity when you throw your life away chasing drill music. These kids could have turned their lives around, become positive influences, and grown for the better, but they didn't get that chance. They gave it up to chase drill music. It's truly sad. I pray for my community, especially the Bronx, because I love it deeply. It's a wonderful place, but it's been hijacked by the devil, and he has a tight grip on the youth. As a community, we shouldn't support this music. We need to call it out and guide young people so they don't fall into the same traps that caught so many of my friends and family. I came close to falling into it myself. I'm not perfect, and none of us are. Thankfully, God guided and protected me, and eventually I got back on track. I want to thank God, and I want to thank all of you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.